Okay.
Welcome, everyone,
Click on the video.
to this week's episode of the Hamirpur Tales Hour. And we are very blessed and fortunate to have with us Hugh Flick. And Hugh Flick uh, was one of the 125 who attended the Maine Japa Mela starting August 8th of 1975. And he also had the opportunity to visit and tour Hamirpur. So when were you in Hamirpur? Let's start with Hamirpur.
Okay, I went there in 1973. I'd gotten out of the Navy in 1972. I was in the Navy in Vietnam. In fact, that's where my brother Bart sent me all Baba's books, and I heard really basically got to know something about Mayor Baba when I was in Vietnam. And Bart was the one who originally got interested in Mayor Baba. He was a student at Chapel Hill, and I think he's coming next week, and he can tell you his whole story. But he before he also was joined the Navy, and before he shipped down to Antarctica to work down there, he sent me all Baba's books that from the Berkeley bookstore, Berkeley Baba bookstore, and so that's where I heard about Mayor Baba. And another thing he said particularly was that when I was home on leave, I had to go visit this fellow who met Mayor Baba back in the 1930s, named Darwin Shaw. And so when I was home, I started going to Darwin's meetings. And then when I got out of the Navy and started graduate school in Boston, I used to go back to Darwin's meetings, and as a result, got to know Darwin and Jean very well. And they would come out to the farm here, where I'm staying now, and give meetings out here, which was, makes this a very special place in my
And,
book.
and where is your farm, Hugh?
It's between Albany and Catskill. It's not too far from where Rick Dryden's farm was.
Oh, yeah. Hugh, I thought you said that you met Darwin and Jean in the 1930s, but that doesn't seem right.
No, I wasn't around, and I was around in another body back then, I guess. But in any case, after I got out of the Navy, I started graduate school, and while I was in graduate school, I helped run the Inman Square Baba Center in Cambridge, and so I knew all the Baba lovers in that area. And the summer after my first graduate school year, I decided I was going to go to India, and I got a round trip ticket for only about $400. So it was a lot cheaper back then, 1973. So I was over in India for I think about 8 weeks. But before I left, all my friends, Baba lovers, and my fellow students knew that I was going to India. So I had a whole suitcase full of presents that these Baba lovers and Indian students were sending back to their parents. So I spent probably 2/3 of the summer traveling around northern India, just dropping in on these families, knocking on the door and saying, your son sent this present to you. Oh, come on in, come on in. So I had a wonderful time traveling around northern India. And I can't remember exactly who it was. It could have been Rich Leviton or Ducky and Steve, who'd gone to Hamirpur in 1972. Um, but somebody had given me something to take to Keshev, and so uh, and no, none of these people that I dropped in on knew I was coming, because I I didn't know how to get a hold of them, and so I would just sort of show up on their doorstep, and it would be, "Who are you?" until I said that I was their friend of their son, and uh, I was bringing this present from their son. Oh yeah. So in any case, uh, that's how I ended up in Hamirpur, because it's either Rich or Steve and Ducky who gave me something to give to Keshev. So um, I ended up, although on the way to Hamirpur, because it was the monsoon season, the bus that I was riding on slid off the road, um, and we got stranded in the city before. Uh, we had to walk to this town before Hamirpur. But in any case, I eventually got to Hamirpur, knocked on Keshev's door, and he was overjoyed to 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 welcome me to Hamirpur, and I stayed with him in his house as far as I remember. Um, I didn't stay long with any particular family, because I was traveling all over northern India. I probably stayed in Hamirpur for 2 or 3 days. Um, but Keshev was very kind, very friendly. Took me around, introduced me to all of the Baba lovers in the area, which was wonderful. Uh, Except that they all insisted that I have a cup of chai with them, and, and I I've never
Oh,
been a
only,
caffeine drinker.
only,
The what?
only chai,
Yeah,
only chai.
yeah. That's I probably had 20 cups of chai as we each day as we were traveling around, uh, as he's introducing me to all of the Baba lovers. So I was totally wired. Uh, I couldn't sleep. But in any case, uh, it was a wonderful visit. And the other thing I remember, in addition to the chai at every house, was that most of them had these Baba Krishna swings that they would uh, Baba would sit on when he would visit, and they would swing them, and they would have statues of Krishna, and they would swing those, and they insisted that I sit on these these swings, and they would swing me, even though I protested that uh, I wasn't anything like Krishna or Baba. Oh no, you're very special, and uh, uh, but
Wow.
there was one young man who somehow coaxed me into singing. So I started singing the Western Archie or something, and he started laughing. So I didn't sing anymore after that. I mean, I'm not a singer, so uh, there, there was there was a good reason he was laughing, because I was probably off key and uh, singing in a monotone. But in any case, uh, that was my stay in Hamirpur, um, and I loved it there. And Kesha was so friendly, and all the Baba lovers were so loving, that it was a very special visit. But then from there, I went on. I had a few more uh, families to visit, and then I ended up at down in Meherabad, um, and so that was my first visit down there. For I think I I still had about 2 weeks left before I had to head back home, um, come back to graduate school. But it was a wonderful time.
Hugh, can I make a comment based
Yeah,
on your experience visiting all the families there and receiving chai? It makes me think of when Pendu and Erish visited that area. They were offered uh, chai and also like a lassi or something like that. And because they chose lassi on that first time, they were never offered chai again, and they were like having withdrawals. They wanted some chai, but they kept on bringing them. They didn't even ask anymore. They always brought them the lassi drink.
the word got around.
Yeah.
Well, did
Uh,
you not get sick, Hugh?
did what?
Did you not get sick?
I didn't get sick, but I just I couldn't sleep. I was so wired from all the caffeine.
Gosh.
But but you know, it was still, they were so loving that I couldn't refuse.
What a gimmick to go to India with gifts from all these children. What an entree into all kinds of homes. Boy, that was a real
Yeah, the strangest gift I I took was from a father who'd heard I was going over to India, and he had a son who was in the Peace Corps and was working running some water services near this Maharaja, and his son had asked him to send over a hunting rifle.
Oh my goodness.
So my, I was asked. This gentleman came and asked if I would take something over to his son, who was in the Peace Corps. So, oh, sure. And he didn't really tell me what it was until he showed up with his 5 foot long hunting rifle. And I said, I'll never get on a plane with that. He said, oh, don't worry, yeah, yeah, they'll just check it. And then he said, but I'll give you 400% of the cost of the gun in for duty, because
Oh goodness.
and he said it probably won't cost that much, but you can keep whatever's left over. So I think I was kind of greedy, I guess. And so I said, sure, that's great, but they did charge 400% duty on it, so I didn't get a nickel out of it. But it was interesting, and I didn't get arrested or didn't get gloves searched or anything when I got there. So I don't think I could do it now, but back in 1973, it wasn't quite as bad.
Gosh, I'm amazed that they would allow it on the plane. Wow.
Yeah, it was in the cargo, but still.
Right.
Uh,
Wow.
Even traveling around on the buses and the trains, having this 5 foot, it was in a case, but having this gun case with me was, I was really glad to get rid of it. Let's put it that way.
So good of you to honor you that commitment. Wow.
But it was a fun trip, and I wish I had a list of all the places I went, but I don't think I have anything like that. I don't think I kept notes, but who knows? Maybe I'll find it one of these days.
When you were staying with Keshev, did you have the opportunity to accompany him on his walk around the square?
I don't remember that particularly, but probably if he did that on a regular basis, I'm sure he took me along with him. But yeah,
Do you recall any of the names of the other Bible lovers that Keshev introduced you to?
no.
Okay. Well, it's only 50 years, so
Yeah, I don't
actually in
think
your case,
I didn't
52.
meet Pukar at that point. He wasn't in town when I was there, but I met him at the Mela that Alan Ray had set up in Maine. Um, and I came up from Boston with all the Boston people, and we had stayed in tents on this wonderful campgrounds. And there's a big place that they'd built for Jop, and we'd go in and we'd repeat Baba's name for half an hour, whatever we'd signed up for. But it was a wonderful visit. But that's when I got to know Pukar.
So, what do you recall of your interactions with Pukar at the Maine Mela?
Again, I don't remember anything in particular, although there's a picture of Leon Kestenbaum and Pukar and me standing by probably the tent that I was staying in, just chatting. But I don't remember a whole lot. But it was nice because, everybody knew that Pukar's story, and that he'd been very opposed to Baba until he actually met Baba, and then just was blown away by him.
Did your brother ever go to Hamirpur, Bart?
He went the next year. So I think he's going to talk about that next week.
Oh, that's what you were saying.
Yeah.
Did you go together or not?
We went to India together once, but we didn't go to Hamirpur together. That was later on. But yeah, I used to go over to, when I was in graduate school, I'd go every couple of years. So it was nice. But I didn't get up to Hamirpur again.
I was with Bart in 73 in Hamirpur.
With Bart?
Yeah. I can't remember if he was at the Maine Mela or if we met him at Mahewa Village. I can't remember. But definitely he was there. Kind of surprised. I think because he didn't travel from Mehrabad with us. He came separately.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he can tell you that whole story next week.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing it.
You must stay in touch with him pretty regularly.
Well, we both attend the Buffalo Australian Baba meeting each week, and so I see him there. But other than that, we don't really communicate too much.
The Buffalo Australian Baba meeting? You mean several Baba lovers? I mean, from Australia? Meet
Yeah,
on.
Joe Stewart set this up. I don't know when the pandemic started, and so Michael LePage and Trisha, I can't think of her name, and Margaret. There are a bunch of Baba lovers from Australia who regularly show up at this meeting with the Buffalo people, Tim and Noreen McAllister.
Trisha, Big Doll, you and Jeanette Young sometimes,
Margaret Harrison.
and Margot Harrison.
Yeah, and even John and Deb, or Deb John.
Oh,
Wow, that sounds interesting.
But so that's where I see Bart each week. But we haven't really hung out together for a long time.
I guess he doesn't make it up to the farm when you're there.
No,
Hmm.
no, he hasn't been to the farm for 20 or 30 years now.
Wow. You say it's been 100 years in your family. My goodness.
Yeah, it's a great old farm. The main farmhouse was built in 1825. So, and then we've added on to it a little, but so the main farmhouse is 200 years old.
Oh, wow. Wow.
But it's a great little town. Margaret Bernstein has a
Oh,
house, if you know Margaret.
you know, Margaret. What Rensselaerville? The Rensselaer.
Rensselaerville.
I'll be darned. Ah, wow.
Yeah, there's a beautiful waterfall on the wildlife preserve where all the deer live.
Wow. The ones that ate your orchard.
Yeah, the ones that ate all the apple trees.
I've not been to Hamirpur, and I didn't realize it was north. I don't know why I had it in my mind as south. So, is it far north? Not like Kashmir. I don't know. I guess I could look at a map. Um,
It's definitely in the north, but I couldn't tell you how far. Anybody know how far it is from?
It's Uttar Pradesh is the state. Is that what we call it? A state?
Yeah,
I can't
Uttar
remember if it's north of Agra or south of Agra. What
I
do you
think
think?
south
I
of
have
Agra.
I think I have an answer to that. Hi Hugh, thanks for being here. When we went to Hamirpur from Mumbai, we took an overnight third-class railroad train through Delhi, and then north of Delhi and slightly to the east of Delhi is where we finally finished that part of our trip before we went into much more primitive modes of transportation to get to Hamirpur from there. It was at least 24 straight hours on a train, though.
Yeah, I was on that train.
Yes,
Not the
yes,
same train that you were on, but the same line or whatever.
indeed,
Yeah,
indeed.
the next year.
Yes,
wow.
I'm still
Probably
aching
traveled
from it.
third class too, didn't you?
Yes, still aching from it. Yes.
Good old third class boogie.
Yeah, one year I had a Fulbright over in India, and uh, I was assigned to the University of Pune. And when I got there, they laughed at me and said, "What can you teach us?" 'Cause I was in the Sanskrit department, and because that's our language. I said, "Well, nothing, but I noticed in your library you have a complete Tibetan canon, a Tengir and a Kangir. I can teach you how to read that." So I spent my time over there teaching how to read the Tibetan. But the point I wanted to make was I would teach on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, and then Wednesday afternoon I would get on the ST bus and go straight over to Ahmednagar and spend Wednesday night through Sunday over at the Pilgrim Center. So it was a great trip. A lot of time in Mehrabad.
Mm. Mm.
Anybody have any questions about Hamirpur? Or?
Yes.
Yeah.
How many times did Baba visit Hamirpur?
Huh.
What were those visits like?
Baba's first visit to Hamirpur started on November 18th of 1952. And he was there for about 9 days. I believe he left after Naranga, and he was in Naranga on the 26th, so probably left the next day. And then in 54, he entered Hamirpur through Uri and then went to Echora, and he finally ended up in Mahewa, where at 1:05 a.m. on the 10th of February, he made his public declaration as the avatar of the age. So, and his entourage left Hamirpur shortly after that. So those were his only two visits to Hamirpur, and yet I was told that 25% the population of the district of Hamirpur physically had Baba's darshan.
And how many people was that? 25%. What was the size of the region?
Well, the largest darshan was at Brahmanand Inter College in Rath, R-A-T-H. And that was on November 26th, early in the day. And there were 50,000 people said to have shown up for that darshan. So
Wow.
It's hard to fathom how many people were in the district of Hamirpur, but I don't know, perhaps 500,000. Anybody got any better idea about it than that?
And in these times now, is the Baba still, like, there are lots of Baba centers there, lots of Baba events? Have any of you been back since the 70s?
I was there in 2019.
Oh my.
Hamirpur is the community that Pukar, he had to pretty much beg Baba to allow him to move forward with his vision for Hamirpuri. And when I was there in 74, and then again in 77, there was a school, and people were, Baba families were living there, and there were perhaps 24 students enrolled in the school. When I went back in 2019, Hamirpuri has blossomed. There are 700 students going to the school there. And so, Pukar's son, Mayor Nath, Mayor Prakash Nigam Pukar leads Arti there. They do have a statue of Baba, which is, so to speak, the centerpiece of Hamirpuri. And he leads Arti in the morning and then in the evening. And those artis are actually available online as well. And activity.
Watch them online. Just on YouTube, look for that Hamirpur, Mayor Baba, Hamirpur, RT, something.
I believe it comes through for me on Messenger. I'm not certain how to connect you up with that. I'm sorry about that.
Somebody sent you a link on Facebook or a file, Facebook Messenger.
I'm not sure about that, Betty. Sorry. But they do annually have melas in Hamirpur. There was one around February 3rd. It was on February 3rd of this year in Uri, where they celebrated Baba's entry into Hamirpur in 1954. And Vijay Balakar and his wife Anita were there. I'm sure VJ was asked to sing some ghazals, accompanying himself on the harmonium. So they had quite a celebration there. And I know that in November of this year, they're going to have a celebration in Naranga around the 26th of November, honoring and when Baba was there with his lovers in 19 November 26th. And so there are, I visited a Baba Center in Echora, and of course, there is the Japti in Mehewa. The Japti is about on a little hill, about a half a mile from the village of Mehewa. Now, Keshav Nigam was that's so to speak is where he was born, and not only was some of his family still there, but Keshav's samadhi, Keshev's tomb shrine, is there in the village, just outside the village of Mehewa. And I was fortunate and blessed to have an opportunity to visit there. So they have a separate active center in the village of Mehewa.
And excuse me, is Keshem the one that Hugh, you visited Keshem? Because you had a
Kesher,
present
yeah.
for him? Yeah, from Stephen
Yeah,
Duff.
he's not around anymore.
Yeah, right. Ray mentioned his tomb shrine. Yeah. Okay, sorry.
He's the one who wrote Meher Chalisa, 40, 40 verses for Baba. It was important to Baba. And it seems that, would you say Keshav Nigam and Pukar were the pillars of, or maybe, I'm speaking as someone who wasn't there, so but that's what I'm gathering.
Yes, I would concur with that. There were a couple, Babu Ram Prasad and Shripai, not quite saying Shripai's name properly, but they were introducing people to Baba even before Keshev and Pukar started doing so. Of course, Erich was exhausted after the New Life. And as you know, Baba picked up and left for Myrtle Beach very soon after the end of the New Life. And perhaps that's when the fiery free life started. And Erich refused to, Baba told Erich he needed to go with him to America. And Erich refused to the point where he was ready to pack his bag and leave Mirazad. Of course, he was reminded that he didn't have a bag because it was all Baba's. It was all Baba's. And so he kind of retired, and the next morning, Baba called him, and he gave Erich an alternative.
Mhm.
And he says, "Well, here's an option for you. If you really don't want to go with me to America because you're so exhausted, then I want you to go to Hamirpur." And Erich was did not see himself as a public speaker, and he said, "Baba, what am I going to tell the people?" He said, "Don't worry about it. Just be there, and I'll do the rest." And and so Erich, accompanied by Pendu, toured Hamirpur in 52, well in advance of November when Baba himself went there. So that was also a great deal of the legwork that went into manifesting the fire and the love that is so remarkable with his lovers there in Hamirpur.
Alan, can I show a few pictures of Hamirpur?
I
Just
would be grateful
Good.
to you if you did that. Yes.
All right. So
Betty can set up the screen sharing for you.
Okay, so now, do you know how to screen share? Yeah, good, right. You're now co-host, Ron.
okay. So okay. So it says there, where's this? Oh yeah, share. Okay. So what do we got here? Let's see. Here we have Keshav Nigam right here.
Oh,
Get-
look.
on the right here,
Yeah.
not all the way on the screen. And that's his brother, Mukund, who takes care of the cabin that Baba stayed in when he visited there in 54.
You say Ketchum is kind of off screen a bit?
Right. Can you see my
Yeah,
cursor?
yeah.
Yeah, that's Keshav right there. And then these are the villagers at Mehewa village. And then this is a main, this is like probably the main building on Mehewa village. And this is, oh, there I am. And this is Pukar here. Daryl Smith met us there, which was kind of amazing. He had just heard about Baba like 3 weeks before.
Oh my gosh.
That's
Where
amazing.
are you, Ron? Is that the
What's
dark?
that? What's
Where
that?
are you? You say where are you? You're there. Is it
Oh,
the
I'm right. I'm here.
yeah, the dark hair
Yeah,
there?
yeah. And this is a guy I used to room with, Baba lover named Rich D'Amato. I don't
Mhm.
know who these people. This guy I lived in Mehewa village. I'm pretty sure he was the chaiwala. Anyhow, here's some pictures of Meher Puri. Is it Meher Puri?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is uh, the sculpture of Baba that they have there. Now I thought I had one other one too. Let's see.
Looks like a merry-go-round, right? I'm sure in
Oh,
person.
I had another one too of more activity. Wait a minute, what happened to it?
You have to click it again.
They're just disappearing. No, that isn't it. I think I lost it.
Just click it again. It should be
Uh,
just there, yeah.
well, no, those other two disappeared. Sorry about that. But you saw that's the sculpture. That's what was happening there, where they had the Maine Mela in 73.
It looked like Baba was sitting in some kind of a throne or something. Yeah.
Yeah, he was seated in as
Mhm.
part of the sculpture.
But that gives some nice flavor to, that's neat, Ron, that you have those little pictures.
Yeah, I thought it'd be interesting to see the scene of what it looked like, at least in 73. It probably doesn't look that much different. Maybe the people are different that are standing around.
Mm.
Yeah, think about it. All those people are in their 50s or 60s, little kids.
Hey, Jonathan, Rosalie.
We just got over our other meeting. Sorry, we can't do both.
Oh.
Well, thanks for joining us.
Yeah,
Man, I
we
wish
saw-
it was a little
we
bit
saw
different.
Hugh talked earlier, did he?
Yes.
You-
Yeah.
Yeah.
What year did he go?
1973.
Oh, hey, you. All right.
Mhm.
Oh, so you also the same with Ron?
No,
Yeah.
he went earlier that year.
Oh, okay.
I was in graduate school, so I could only go during the summer.
Uh, I just saw Daryl Smith. I didn't know that it's amazing how many people have been to Hamirpur. It's great.
When were you there, Jonathan?
I was there in 94 and 96.
Wow.
It was just Scott McCaig was there in, I don't know whether it was 70 or 71.
Wow.
Yeah, he went there. Yeah. It's something. So did you go, who did you go with, Hugh? Well, you probably said all that. I'll listen to the tape or get you at a corner sometime.
He can tell it again. We have a little more time. If he wants to, Hugh.
So what was the question?
Who did you go with, Hugh?
I was just by myself. I was just
Oh,
driving
really?
around. It was from various Baba lovers and other people I knew, things to take over to their families in India, and that's so. And I think it was either Rich Leviton or Stephen Duck who gave me something to take to Keshev. So that's how I ended up in Hamirpur.
Wow. So where did you go to a number of villages or just to those particular ones you were delivering things to?
I went all over northern India and ended up in Meherabad. But yeah, no, I wish, as I said earlier, I wish I kept a little chart of all the places I went
Yeah.
delivering gifts.
Wow, that's amazing. You must have really been a popular guy.
He said the families didn't know he was coming.
Yeah, I would just knock on the door.
Great.
Dick,
Well,
you had asked the question about how active people are in Hamirpur in the district today. And what I recall, Baba gave darshan at 35 different places in the course of his two tours in Hamirpur. And I suspect there's still a fair amount of activity in some of the other towns that we haven't talked about or discussed. Good chance at that.
Maybe we should find somebody from Hamirpur, a resident of Hamirpur, and have them inform us about that. I don't know if you would know anybody over there, but that would be an interesting person to have here on the Hamirpur Tales.
I agree 100%. And I've reached out to Mayor Prakash
There you
Nigam, and I'm not getting any response from him.
go. Okay.
But yes, that that certainly has been part of the initial vision for Hamirpur Tales. Absolutely.
What about a son or a daughter who's over here at school? There might be some kid from Hamirpur who would come on here and could speak English. You
Well,
might pose that question to this person that you're.
Where did Shaligram Sharma's son, is he around? I remember. He's from.
he's I think he goes by Mokal Delvi or something like that. And he's over there in Hamirpur, if we're talking about the same.
Yeah. I mean, there must be a number. Yeah, you're right. I don't know.
That would be fun. Maybe you can ask your person if they might know if so many of those kids, families, the kids wind up, of course, those folks don't have a whole lot of money, do they? And generally, and how much their children.
I was just going to say that we get more people from Andhra than from Hamirpur. They were well-to-do, and Hamirpur.
Right.
You can't afford.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But there are exceptions. There are definitely exceptions.
Didn't some of the people from Hamirpur move to Mehrabad? There were a few people that lived there. They moved down from Hamirpur.
Hiralal.
Well, Hiralal was there, yeah.
And Keshav Nigam's daughter, I remember meeting her. She was working at the Welcome Center at Lower Mehrabad.
Meet her.
Well, I have to say, Hiralal was my dose of. I loved how he just boom out that Avatar Mir Baba DJ, right? Just no hesitation. You knew he was going to do it.
I'd love to sing that with him. Did I was telling somebody a story. Ray or Ron, do you know the story of Mungalal when they were doing a job? I don't know whether it was before Baba's first visit, and there was this home in Naranga where it was a quadrangle kind of place, and when you went through the entryway through the wall, there was a saint or somebody that had a tunnel that dug down, that went down straight where the gate was, and then back out through the street over to a well. There was a well in the center of the thoroughfare, and I guess he lived down there, but he had an altar down there. Are you aware of this story when Mangalal what happened to Mangalal when he was doing a job there?
No, please continue.
This is really amazing. My second visit, Mangalal accompanied us, so he told us many stories. So anyway, they are down there, and each person, they signed up for, as I recall, an hour. And this man who's lived there, whether he was a saint or a Muslim, I'm not sure, but he lived there. People would come in and go down, and there was an altar. We went down. I have a picture of the altar, and they would do Jap, Baba's name, in front of that altar. Well, as Indians do sometimes, they follow their own inclinations. Well, this guy had something that he all of a sudden needed to do, and so he locks the door to go down into this cave and goes off. So the hour comes to an end, and well, I don't even know that he had a watch, but the point was he wasn't getting a relief, and he ended up being there for 3 hours.
Oh my goodness!
Doing job, and and I don't know whether it was because of the intensity of the circumstances of Baba's imminent, coming, whether it was, but anyway, when they went down and they said, Mungala was in front of the altar repeating Baba's name, but he was almost like comatose. He was like frozen, like a statue. And there was this arc of light going from him to the altar. And I think it was after that he was very, had must attributes for quite a while. He told us once we were sitting in another place in a quadrangle, and he said, Pukar knew that I had these attributes, and he said, Pukar knew that if I wanted to, I could throw him across this quadrangle, which was probably 100 yards. And so he had some very unusual experiences, which is a whole nother story of going back. But that was the main one. And I don't know whether that was what triggered his must experience, but he had those experiences for a while before Baba freed him from it, which he was greatly appreciative of.
In what town did this occur?
Well, that as I recall, that was in Naranga. It was a home in Naranga of a well-to-do person.
And it was essentially a temple in a well?
No, it was just this man had dug a tunnel, and he lived down it was like a secluded, a place where I think he led a very austere life. I didn't meet the guy. I don't know. He probably wasn't there anymore. We were just hearing this story. They showed us where it was, and we went down, and you go in through this tunnel. It was fairly small, but there were like room-like spaces in it, one that had this altar, and you continued on, and it had a little window that opened up into this well. You could get water from the well, I guess. It was in the middle of the thoroughfare.
Well, I'm glad we got that story. And folks, we need to close the meeting. I'm sorry, we're just minutes away from Artie. So, Alan, you want to conclude?
Yeah, it's time to wrap it up. Want to thank you for being with us today, and hats off to everyone else who joined us. And it just so happens that next week we'll have another Flick with us, Mark Flick.
His brother.
Yes, and that's Hugh's brother. So we can, as we usually do, we can have our 3 Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jays and then turn it over to the evening arti. And thank you all once again.
Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai.
Avatar Baba Ki Jai.
Thanks a lot, Al.